I was going to save this for Good Morning Mario, but it's way too freaking important. So good middle of the night, Mario. We've got breaking news. Guys and girls, Nintendo Switch Pro, there are multiple reports coming in hot. This thing is happening, and it seems like the reveal could be imminent, like any day now. We've got new details on release. We got new details on reveal. We got new details on price and what they plan to do with the OG Switch. So a lot to dive into and discuss. This is super exciting. I'm going to try to contain myself, but this is what I live for. A brand new Switch coming our way sooner than we thought. Make sure to smash that like button to show some love, and let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for this thing. It's the middle of the night, but we don't stop because Nintendo doesn't seem like they're stopping. I'm going to get right into the goods for you. We got reports from Bloomberg, reports from Emily Rogers. I'm going to start with Bloomberg just because they're very official, and they've kind of been on this trail from the beginning. Mochizuki has been at the helm of this, and their newest report says Nintendo plans upgraded Switch replacement as soon as September. Right, we were thinking maybe because of the chip shortage, maybe because Nintendo has been tight-lipped, this thing wasn't going to release until 2022, or, later on in 2021. They're saying September or October. And just so you have a little context for how this went down, Emily Rogers, who is the leaker, a pretty darn respected leaker who stays pretty quiet unless she's serious, she posted about this 3.5 hours ago. And at the time, it was like, okay, this seems legit because she seems legit. But then when Bloomberg doubled down and said their sources are saying the same thing, same exact stuff, right? All the same stuff. Then it was like, okay, this is newsworthy, this is video worthy, and we can start. I was tepid, but then I was like, okay, this is happening. I can let myself get excited now. We might be seeing a Switch Pro this week. Announcement of new Switch could be made ahead of June's E3. Now, this is super interesting because everyone thought that the announcement would be saved for after E3, but both Bloomberg and Emily Rogers, who, if you don't know, is a very reliable leaker, she's got a lot right. In fact, she talked about the OG Switch right before it was revealed. NX is not getting delayed. It's on schedule. It launches in March. News is coming this week and next week. And boom, the next day they had their NX Switch reveal trailer, the one that we were just watching. This one. This is what they showed off. And it was freaking, the rest was history. It was magic. It was a miracle. We heard the Switch sound for the first time, and everything was lovely. Emily Rogers, though, she's in on it as well. She says Bloomberg's report was accurate. New screen, upgraded chips, aiming for September, October release. An announcement is imminent. We might be getting news sooner than we thought, that is my jam. That's what I love to hear, okay? The fact that they want to get this out ahead of E3 says two things. One, they're very confident in their E3 lineup. And two, they're very confident this thing can hit. If you go back to the Bloomberg article, they talk about despite the chip shortage, which has been affecting everybody from car makers to Apple to video game consoles, Nintendo is confident. They're going to start major production in July, according to the article, and they are going to ramp it up so that it's at its peak in the October to December Q4 time period. Now, a September or October launch is in line with Nintendo's other revisions or their iterative type console launches. They put out the Switch Lite, the same time frame, and they're saying this thing is going to be above $299. Now, what's very interesting here and what I find just fascinating, the price point's not fascinating. Above $299, we knew that. We figured this thing would come in at $350 or even $400. They are going to be phasing out the current Switch, which I think is unexpected. I sort of always expected a three-pillar strategy where you have the high-end Switch Pro, the mid-tier Switch, and then the more portable, family-friendly, great price point $199 Switch Lite. But according to the Bloomberg report, they are going to be working the main OG Switch out of there. Now, we'll talk about that a little later because is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I can see both sides, but I have a take. The announcement. Nintendo, they could do this any day now, right? And that is what both Emily Rogers and Bloomberg are saying, that this, could happen as soon as tomorrow, as soon as in the morning. It might have already happened by the time you're watching this, but if it is to happen before E3, I think that bodes very well. It kind of gets the muck out of the way. If they can establish, hey, this thing does play the same games, your Switch is not, going to be left in the dust. If they can kind of get the messaging, across, then it doesn't confuse anyone for E3, and we can all enjoy the games. Whether you're a current Switch owner, a Switch Lite owner, or a prospective Switch Pro owner, you can just know that the games are going to work. we thought they would announce it after E3, like way off in the distance, but I guess like this does allow them to sort of set the stage for big plans for the fall. What is weird about it is, why would you buy a Switch knowing that the Switch Pro is coming? So that was one of the main reasons I didn't think they would talk about it at all. That to me is fascinating. I'm super curious to see when that develops and how that happens and how it exactly goes down. It's kind of a show stealer before the show even starts, saying, hey, we've got new hardware and it's freaking sweet. To me, again, that just means that the actual E3 Direct is smoking hot. I mean, like, really heating up. Like, they've got a lineup, right? They've got a lineup. If they want to do the Switch Pro beforehand, oof. Bloomberg also mentions that only a select few people very close to the project know the actual name. So we've always called it Switch Pro, Super Switch, but apparently there is a name, and they give no indication on what it is because they don't know. I guess it could be Nintendo Switch Pro, or it could be something completely different, but that is being kept very, very secure and very safe and close to the team. Now, in terms of the release date, let's move to that. Now, Emily Rogers says, aiming for September or October release, and as you saw in the Bloomberg article, same thing, as soon as September. This has a little more context after today because we learned that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl launch in November, and we learned that Pokemon Legends Arceus launches at the tail end of January 28th to be specific. So a September or October release, it makes sense, as I mentioned, because September is when they have done iterations in the past, and then it would allow the Switch Pro to feast on the holiday lineup, and that to me, if their plan is to launch this thing in September and they feel confident enough to do that by announcing it in May or June, and they're producing in July and they're ramping up, they probably have a big game around it. It just makes sense. It doesn't have to happen. No one's saying that Breath of the Wild 2 and the Switch Pro are intrinsically tied together, but what better to show off your new hardware than a super sexy brand new Zelda game? It's the 35th anniversary. We've seen nothing of it. It just feels right. So I do think that there must be a massive holiday title ready to go. I don't know if it comes out day and date with the Switch, although they did launch the Switch Lite with Link's Awakening, so could they make it magic again? Maybe there's an October launch, and that is their big game. Is Breath of the Wild 2 in October, they go Pokemon remakes in November, and they're ready to go. Perhaps they've got something for December as well, and Metroid and Donkey Kong can fit in where they do. But I think this now, if they are to release in September or October, I think this brings Breath of the Wild 2 back into the 2021 conversation, and I think it makes it likely, because I feel like Nintendo, if they're going to charge you more, right, if they're going to be like, hey, we got this $350, $400 system, there's got to be a killer app to justify it. I don't think they can launch this thing with no real games and then be like, but we've got stuff coming. Because we know Splatoon 3, it looked pretty lovely. That's not coming till later in 2022. Pokemon Legends Arceus is impressive, but that's not coming till 2022. Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl might be fun games, but they're not visually impressive. So what is going to sell this thing? What's going to sell the power? If this is a system that does have, as Emily Rogers and Bloomberg both state, new screen, upgraded chips, everything we've heard has been accurate and true, and they're ready to go with this premium model, it needs a killer app, or at least needs software to show it off. And I think Breath of the Wild 2 is the most likely candidate because Nintendo utilized it to launch the Switch. They utilized it to launch the Switch Lite. Hey, trifecta, third time's a charm, use it to launch the Switch Pro. So we're looking at an imminent release. We're looking at a pricey price point, but one that can come in underneath the PS5, at least the physical edition, and the Xbox Series X. It'll be more than the Series S, but it could, if they go $350, it could be still less than the digital version of the PS5, which would be great. And we're looking at a September or October launch. I think that means that we have a big game, most likely Breath of the Wild 2 coming near it. And I think it means we're set up for a big E3. If there is going to be a Switch Pro reveal, I don't know how you don't show this thing off without talking a new game. If we look at the Switch trailer, right? If we look at the Switch overview trailer, which was like a great trailer, this thing was really, really nice. They did their work. They showed Breath of the Wild, right, which we had seen before at this time because it was a Wii U game. But they did more in this trailer. They gave us a lot of examples. We got to see footage of Skyrim running on Switch, which hey, third party. We got to see footage of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe running on Switch, which again we had seen before, but do not forget that they also showed off a little bit of NBA, which was nice to see here. That game ended up performing and playing really well. And then we got to see Mario Odyssey, Now, at the time, Mario Odyssey was not named, it was not known, but we got to see a new Mario experience, and I believe that they will want to highlight, hey, new stuff for this new system. It really does no good to show Breath of the Wild 1, Animal Crossing New Horizons, new Pokemon Snap. Like, those games are great, but it does them no good to show them on the Switch Pro. We need to see something that the Switch Pro can really emphasize and highlight, and that's going to be new stuff. So I think you might be seeing Breath of the Wild 2 imminently as well. It's really exciting, and man, you know I've got you covered. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to turn your notifications on, so as soon as this thing happens, if it's happening, and it seems like it is, we can enjoy and share it together. I'm super ready. I'm super pumped, and it's happening. After all these years and all these rumors and all this waiting and all this, what the heck, it really is coming together. And I think all of our patience and all of our wondering and all of our we don't talk about it yet. Like, it's now, okay, we might be ready for it. And I cannot wait to wake up for a morning with a brand new Nintendo hardware trailer. Like, that's, as a fan of 30 years, this is what I live for. And I'm sure you guys do as well. So let's get excited, everybody. Smash that like button. Let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about all this. What's your temperature reading? Because I'm heating up. I don't want to sleep, but I got to. So I'll leave you guys with that. If anything else happens, I got you covered. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. You guys are the very best. I love you lots. This is awesome. Switch Force out.